we are still on this item, reporting on technical sessions and adoption of the Charter and Action Plan. Mr. Flavio Zeni.
Okay.
Thank you. No, as we said, there were other two working groups, one about information and research, and in that working group dealt with the issue to build training module to support the development of managerial and technical skill required to provide professional information, documentation, and research services in Parliament. We had several presentations, and trying to identify what could be activities that could build capacity in parliamentary library and information services. There has been also a debate on the fact that research department in Parliament cannot think to become exhaustive or to be able to deal with every issue that Parliament have, and research department should become a kind of link between Parliament and external university or research institution that could provide specialized expertise on different things. So this is some of the activities that have been identified, like to establish and support online training modules and guidelines dealing with issue like policy analysis, how to develop a paper on policy analysis. Another issue that was identified was effective interaction between information research officer and NMP. It was felt that this interaction at times is difficult, and both parties may end up not be satisfied, and it could be something that could help strengthen this relationship. Then on preparation and presentation of user-friendly briefs and research report, taking in consideration that members of Parliament have a very short time, and they should be able to grasp the juice of the matter in a very short time. Other issues were dealing with integrated library information system and the issue of digitalization of library collection to make them available not only when library is open, but when it's not also open and from any place in the world if it is online. Another important activity is, it has been identified, the one to set up what we have called the African Parliamentary Information Exchange, and that will be a tool to improve and exchange information between national parliament and Pan-African Parliament and among parliament as well. It will be a collaborative portal where each parliament will make available information about its activity, and then they could be searched by other parliaments, so there will be much more a wider access to each other activity to understand what's going on in the other parliament. Another very interesting application that has been presented was the Africa News Monitor, that actually it is based on a data mining application developed by the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. And it is a portal that you can search through thousands of news sources and provide them summary by nation or by topic. And the work that we are proposing to do is to focus on news sources from Africa, so that you could get every morning a newsletter highlighting, for instance, if you are interested about Egypt, if Egypt was on the news on other African countries and so on and so forth. So this is basically, in brief, the summary of the activity identified by the Information Research Group. We do have a second group that was dealing with the legislative process, and as you know, and we have here the President of Pan-African Parliament, the issue of promoting harmonization of legislation and integration goes through also harmonization of the way legislation has been drafted. As a United Nations project, we actually presented the legislative drafting guideline for Africa that has been developed in the last 2 years in collaboration with many African parliament and professors, and also with other European Parliament. The guidelines on legislative drafting are available in 5 languages. Actually, they will be available next week in 5 languages. thanks to the European Parliament. They are being translated in French, Portuguese, and Spanish, beside English, that is the language where the guidelines were created. And thanks to the People Assemblies of Egypt, the guidelines are also now available in Arabic by next week. So the activity proposed, they are really very much pivot around the guideline, and is try to revise and harmonize the different linguistic version, because the guideline, trying to come up with a guideline that cover 53 countries with many languages and many legislative tradition is not easy. And at the same time, we think that space should be given to specification for each tradition and each languages. And develop training material regarding the guideline, and also establish a forum of African drafter that allow drafter of parliaments around Africa to exchange information and to build the capacity also through this exchange of information. Lastly, it was felt that there was need also to develop capacity in what is called bill analytic reports. Both citizen and MP would like to know what is the juice about a bill that could be 100 pages. What is about? What are the issues at stake? And that requires specific skill to be able to summarize a long bill into a page or two. And also one other tutorial was proposed for policymaker on legislative process, dealing on how to make best use of drafting resources and drafter in Parliament. So these were in very short the activity identified by the third working group in legislative process. Thank you very much.